Do your guitar solos sound a little random? Even though you're hitting the right notes and you're in the right key, they can still be random because you're not touching on these simple 3 steps. Let's go over them. If you don't know, my name is Ryan Gaughan. I've been helping guitar players for over 20 years really bridge the gap between their creative ideas and what they are able to play. If you would, please hit the subscribe and bell notification to get more videos on how to make your guitar playing better. Let's jump into the first one. I'm here in A Dorian. All right, and if I put this backing track on, I'm going to be playing the right notes. I'm going to be playing them pretty randomly. Not going anywhere, no matter how hard I try. And what isn't going to help is playing Dorian in a different position, adding some other colored notes to it, right? Some chromatics. It's not really going to do it if we don't start simply by adding space and playing a little bit more into the groove. Now, I don't want to get too just play into the groove and not really describe what we're doing there. But when I have that on, I'm going to be sticking to primarily 8th notes. That's where our rhythmic brain goes. Maybe a 16th note in there, and a quarter note as well, but it's not going to be that interesting. So what we need to do is create a little bit more of a groove by not sticking so hard on the grid, 1 and 2 and 3, wherever that lies, and moving that around a little bit. Now you don't have to get into the rhythmic theory. Oh, this is on the E of that, and this is just something that gets you moving ever so slightly. And creating a little bit of space. Space is so necessary, especially when we're just in that. Right, that idea. So if I play into this groove a little bit more, that's all I'm going to be doing. The note choices are still going to be pretty random. Anything like that is just going to help. I'm really focused on where that rhythm is and going a little faster and slower, right? Right on the beat, not quite on the beat is a great way to do it. If you tap your foot on that 8th note, dun, 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 dun. Some of those hits are going to be on the foot tap, some of them are going to be in between, and some of them are going to carry over, which is really nice. When we start speeding up a little bit, getting away from just when, if I start adding in a little, something like that is going to allow for longer notes. When we start pushing away from just 8th notes, we go a little bit faster with our rhythmic window. That allows for us to go a little bit slower in our rhythmic window and still, and just add that much more variety to what it is that we're playing. When we're stuck in that 8th note rhythm, and then we drop to quarter notes, and then we drop even more, maybe dot a quarter and half, it's going to get overwhelmingly boring. Okay, so that's the first thing. Just play into that groove. Don't stay right on the grid. Perfect. Now, in this case, I have a couple chord changes, but I'm not going to worry about the chord changes as much as the Dorian scale, the Dorian mode, as an overall tonal center, and what notes drive tension and what notes resolve. Now, my A, because I'm in A Dorian, that's my tonal center, it's my tonic, that's going to give me my resolve. Okay, I want to build a little bit of tension and tell that story, get a little emotional arc there. So to do that, I can land on a flat 3 or a flat 7. That's going to give you the most tension, and then the resolve for my root note. So now I can play into that groove a little bit more, and I can end a phrase on a flat 3 or a flat 7, and that's going to build a little bit of tension. We're now going to add note choice in here, deliberate note choice. Something that's deliberate is not going to sound random anymore, right? I'm deliberately building tension on a flat 3 or a flat 7, and I'm deliberately bringing that tension back down to a resolve by landing on the root note, okay? And trying to stay within a groove there, okay? Not random. My rhythm sits in there nicely, as well as landing on a tension note, a flat 3 or a flat 7, letting that space breathe back to the rhythm, and then coming back in with another phrase that ends on a root note to resolve. Already we're making deliberate rhythmic choices, and we're making deliberate phrase ending choices, right? Because that's what we're really going to focus on, that sort of the way that we're ending each phrase. Adding that much deliberate choice is going to take away from it sounding too random. Now there's another layer, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. This particular backing track is A minor 7 to D7, right? And then I have a C6, play it like that, C6, 9, and then I have back to my D7, okay? So what I can do is build, even though I have my tension notes, my flat 3, my flat 7s, and then my resolve, my A, my root note, I can build tension, like micro tensions and resolves with each one of those chords. So now I'm getting more deliberate, not just deliberate with the tonal center as a whole, as a Dorian, and rhythmically, but more deliberate over each chord. It's going to sound that much more three-dimensional, okay? So if I put this back on, whether you like that example or not, I'm playing within that rhythmic groove, okay, and pushing some of the speed up just a little bit. Just a simple, right, pick, hammer, slide, right, on 3 notes. Just that much is going to put a little bit of a rhythmic burst in, right, to then be able to lower down, create more space. I can really let those notes hang. So now the groove is there. I'm playing deliberately into that rhythm. I'm deliberately building tension and resolve, and I'm also playing into the chord changes. If you're doing all 3 of those, it's impossible for it to sound random now. And the first 2 is going to cover a lot of ground before you start learning or diving into chord tones, right? This works with any mode, any tonal center, right? Any modulation, whatever it is. This is sort of the trifecta of getting out of there. When we talk about learning all of that, and then eventually being able to play with feel, because you know exactly what you're saying. So slides and bends and dynamic, and deliberately not landing on a chord tone and then resolving to a chord tone. All of those ideas, playing a little bit behind the beat, whatever it is. Those are all techniques until you really know what it is that you're saying. You're playing it deliberately, and then you're deliberately adding those techniques. That's how you really end up playing with feel. So if I put this back on. Whether you like the example is not the important part. The important part is I'm now, after learning those 3 fundamentals, no longer thinking about what I'm playing and why I'm playing it. It's just like speaking, so now I can say it the way that I would like to. Now, if you are stuck in that sort of boring, random guitar solo plateau that we all get into, you really want to bridge the gap between your creative ideas and what you're able to play, becoming fully fretboard fluent, you can email me in the description below to see if you are right for our Fretboard Fluency Mentorship Program. I also have a free training in the description as well, 3 steps to full fretboard fluency. I would love to hear from you, and thank you for staying until the end.